I'd like to take this time to, first of all, acknowledge that as is our tradition, let me acknowledge and honor that we are on traditional Treaty 6 territory in Edmonton, an important trading center for the Métis Nation. And I'd like to introduce today's facilitator or our speakers, Hussam Tungekar. Did I say that right, Hussam? Yeah,
Tungekar,
awesome.
you got it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hussam is been with Futurpreneur for over 5 years, and he's currently the team lead for Alberta. And I'm not going to talk about what Futurpreneur is. I'll say that Hussam is a new daddy of two, um, and enjoying the challenges that brings, I'm sure. But I'm going to let him talk about Futurpreneur and everything that is. And guys, this is more of a conversational type session, so feel free if you have a question to either put your hand up or unmute and ask it throughout the session. You don't have to wait till the end today. Now over to you, Hussam.
Thank you so much. Thanks for the introduction. So just to clarify, I am a father to two, but they're not twins. They're one's older than the other. So, but yeah, we had a new baby recently, so that's been keeping me and my family quite busy. Yeah, so typically what I do is we have a small group today. So what we could do is first I want to understand where each of you are at with regards to your business. And then once I have that, I can start to go into what our program does, and maybe even talk a little bit to how to access financing in general for your business. It's an area that I have some expertise in, so hopefully I can answer some of your questions if you have any in that space. So just a show of hands, or put it in the chat, or raise your hand if you're on video. Just let me know who's got a business that's actually generating revenue right now. Who's already in business, making money? Dale, nice. Anybody else? And you could do the thumbs up if you like. No, so nobody's in business except Dale. All right, cool. It happens, Got to stay ahead of the curve. So, okay, and how about those of you that have a business idea, you've moved it far along enough where you feel you're pretty close to generating revenue, but haven't yet? Anybody in that boat? No? Okay, who's got an idea for a business already? Okay, so I saw two hands. Anybody else without the cameras on? Um, Anybody have a business idea already?
You people without cameras on, you can use the hands up in the participant panel.
Yes. And so you could give me a thumbs up or just put it in the chat. No? Okay. So I'm curious, from those of you that don't have business ideas and don't have an existing business, what you're looking to sort of get out of this session. So if you could put that in the chat box, that'd be really helpful. So for those of you that are sort of in a position where you have a business idea, would you be willing to sort of share high level? I'd like to know three main components of your business. So one is what you're offering, right? So obviously, what a customer would get if they give you money. The second thing that I would like to know is who's the intended audience. So as a customer of yours, am I a 33-year-old male? Am I a 25-year-old female? My company, 25 employees or more. So who am I as a potential customer? And the third thing I'd like to know is what makes your business awesome? Like, what's the differentiator between other businesses that might be functioning in the same space? So three things: what you offer, who it's for, and why it's awesome. Those are the three things I'd like to know. And anything else you'd like to tell me. But those are the three main things. All right. So who wants to kick us off? Laura or Damien?
Yeah, Damien, it's you or me. Are you ready? Okay.
All right. Did you want me to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go after you.
Awesome. So what I'm actually working to get towards is a cafe, something that's open evening, but also is convenient. I guess really the target market would be 25 to 40 people who I guess, have no problem sitting up late. And then what makes it awesome is that everything will be Canadian sourced. So preferably everything from Alberta and BC.
Okay, awesome. Cool. Thanks so much. That was very clear. I appreciate it. I understand exactly what your business is.
Okay, my turn. All
Go
right,
ahead,
mine's a
Laura.
little
Yeah.
different. So I know
Mhm.
it says Laura, but Nikki's my name, so not that you have to
Oh,
remember that.
okay, Nikki.
I
Cool.
can't change it with Nate. It's Laura Nicole, but anyhow. So there you go.
Okay, I'll try to remember Nikki.
Don't worry about it. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So what I want to do is get into the manufacturing business, and I'd like to develop a product, a specific type of neoprene that has antimicrobial characteristics to it. The reason why is so that I could make shoe inserts that don't smell. But then, of course, the applications could extend into wetsuiting, kayak shoes, anything that gets damp and needs to air out. I think it would really be beneficial. So the demographic that I'm looking at, first of all, marketing my material to are labs that fabricate products for bracing companies, podiatrists, chiropractors, physiotherapists that do orthotics. And what would make it awesome is literally the fact that the end product that a customer gets functions in this way that it doesn't smell.
Right.
So
That's
I
awesome.
see,
Okay.
yeah, so that's my good thing. What also would make it awesome is if I could somehow get manufacturing possibly in Canada, or at least part of it, because everything is usually generated out of China.
Okay, very cool. So how far are you along the development cycle for this?
So I've been doing a lot of just general research. I'm trying to build a team. I'm making some connections with, hopefully, I've got a personal introduction with Alberta Innovates coming up pretty soon, and same with MyTax. I've got a contact there. I had a good meeting with Jess Black, thanks to Cecile. So I met with
Yeah.
her today, and it's her birthday. So if you
Is it really? Okay.
you can wish her a happy birthday. She was super cool, and she's been really inspirational. And she's like, "You go get it, girl." So, and this is the idea I'm taking to the rodeo. So I'm doing the 150 startups with this idea. But that's
Got
where
it.
I'm at.
Okay. Very cool. No, thanks. I appreciate the rundown. So Jess Black's awesome. I love her company. That's yeah, very cool space that she's in. So I was actually thinking of that as a potential connection for you. So glad Cecile's already ahead of me on that. That's brilliant.
And this stuff, like literally, I don't know if Dale and Cecile are tired of seeing me, but like every week when there's stuff, I'm like, sign me up, sign me
Yeah.
up. Who are all the people? So
Yeah.
TNT, like just everyone I can get my hands on, I'm trying to connect and meet.
That's brilliant. And that's I think like a key to getting a business idea off the ground is learning as much as possible about what services and offerings there are out there for access. Because I think so just to give you an idea, this is going to sound crazy, but there's 126 or so agencies in Alberta alone that support small business. And what it comes down to is your ability to know who those organizations are, what they can do for you, and at what stage of your business they become relevant. Um, so in our case, for example, with Futurpreneur, we are we're focused on 18 to 39-year-olds, right? So that's the age demographic that we deal with. We're very much in the pre-startup or pre-revenue stages, or within 1 year of revenue. So anything that falls sort of on either side of that is not eligible for our program. So if you didn't hear about us in that narrow window in the life of your entrepreneur journey, we would be irrelevant for you. But the support that we offer is pretty awesome, right? So like the idea is really to touch base with everybody and connect with people like Cecile, like Dale, who are super into the ecosystem, know who all the partners are. They can provide you that information of who those relevant organizations are. So no, that's awesome. I'm glad that you're exploring that space, Nikki. Yeah. Cool. So maybe I'll jump into a little bit about what Futurepreneur does. So I'm going to share my screen here. let me know once you can see my screen. Right. You can see my screen, correct? Now? Yeah. All right. Sounds good. So Futurpreneur Canada, we're a not-for-profit organization. We support youth entrepreneurs in helping them start businesses. So like I said earlier, 18 to 39-year-old is the age category. As long as you hit the age criteria, there's essentially three things you can access from us. There's business planning support on the front end, and then funding and mentoring. Okay. Um, it's a broad range of supports, but they fall into these sort of general buckets. Now, typical journey that an entrepreneur would take with us is that they would come to us with a concept that they're working on. So it could be something that you're making money on already, but maybe have it as a part-time gig or something like that, or you're in a process of putting together the structure of what this business is going to look like, and you're starting to think, okay, you know, there's certain gaps that I need to start addressing. At that point, you'd probably be an ideal client for Futurpreneur. And what we do is we'll support you through that initial sort of planning phase of getting a business plan off the ground, getting cash flow projections off the ground, supporting you with connections within the ecosystem to understand what else might be accessible for you on the finance side. Once that's done and you've got your business plan and cash flow completed, now you have the option of actually applying for the program. So this initial service is free. There's no charge for the business planning support. The taxes that you pay for those services, right? Once the business plan and stuff is completed, now you have the option of applying. So you're taking that business plan cash flow, submitting it to us in the form of an application, and then we assess it. And what we're assessing, or what you're actually applying for, is anywhere between $5,000 and $60,000. It's structured as a non-collateral loan. Is anybody familiar with the term non-collateral? Cecile, is it give us a quick definition?
Means you don't have to have a lot of assets to get the loan. You don't, it's not tied to it. You can lose your shirt on it.
Yeah, exactly. So typically if you were to, let's say, get financing for a piece of equipment in your business, or you bought a vehicle on financing, or you bought a home on financing, it works the same. Those are all collateralized loans. So what that means is you're purchasing that item, or the bank's lending you money to purchase that item, but they're using that item as collateral. So in the case that you're not able to pay them back, the bank has the ability to repossess that asset. Okay, so in the case of Futurpreneur, we're the opposite. So we're not taking collateral. So the money is what we call unsecured funds or non-collateral funds. And so when something's non-collateral, there's a lot more use cases for how you can use that money. And I'll get into that a little bit later. But let's in this situation, we're providing non-collateral funds. It's a riskier play for us. So the way we reduce our risk for lending to someone is we provide 2 years of one-on-one mentoring. Now that mentoring addresses a skill set gap in your business. So you obviously have experience in a particular area, right? Which is why you're starting a business in that thing. But maybe something like finance or supply chain marketing, supply chain or marketing or business development, or one of these key areas within your business is a weakness. That's what we address through the mentoring program. So we match you up with a volunteer who's got that skill set, and they work with you one-on-one for the next 2 years. Okay. So that in a nutshell is the program. I'm just going to go stop sharing for a minute, see if anybody has any questions before I sort of move on, because this is sort of like the basis that I'll be using to explain further concepts. So any questions so far? Does it make sense? Yeah? Okay. No questions? All right, cool. So, and yeah, feel free to interrupt me through the process. If you've got a question about something that I'm talking about, let me know. If I use a term that you don't understand, let me know. Sometimes things, I might say something that's more technical, so just let me know and I'm happy to explain it. and I lost my. Oh, okay. I'm gonna try it this way. Okay. Sorry, I just had to rejig my. Can you see that same screen with the slides on it? Yes. All right, cool. So I'll jump in a little bit into, so I sort of explained this. We provide resources, financing, and mentoring. Now we have four programs that we offer that use this sort of base program that I talked about. So we call this program the core program. And we have three sort of offshoot programs that come out of that. One is called the side hustle program. So this is for people who have a side business. Typically, banks don't support side businesses because there's no consistent revenue, and there's a number of other factors which banks sort of hesitate from lending to people that have a side business. We're actually able to provide up to $15,000 for side hustle entrepreneurs that have some sort of a side-based income. So it could be selling something on Amazon, you could be producing your own bath salts or whatever, right? You could have, like a side business that runs out of your garage that we could fund as well. So you're actually able to access funds for those. We have two specialized programs for minority communities as well. One is for Indigenous entrepreneurs, and another one is for Black entrepreneurs. So if you identify as Indigenous or Black, there's specialized funding that we're actually able to provide for those entrepreneurs. So if you feel that that might be something you're interested in, feel free to get in touch. I could provide some more specialized information about that. Now, going back to the way our funds can be used. So there's two extreme ends of the spectrum where people typically access our program. One of the extreme ends is somebody might come to us and say, hey, Hussam, I need, you know, $200,000 or $300,000, right, for this project to get off the ground. In our case, because the funding is structured non-collaterally, what you're actually able to do with our funds is you can take the Futurpreneur funds, you could potentially go out and purchase an asset with them, like a piece of equipment for your business or something like that, and then you can take that piece of equipment to the bank and leverage it for more money. It's a risky play for most businesses, but in certain circumstances it can work. And so I'm letting you know about this because that's the scope of really what you're able to do with the funds. Now, the other end of the spectrum is somebody might come to us and they'll say, hey, Hussam, I love the idea of the mentoring program that you guys have, but I'm not really interested in the money because I have the money that I need for my business. In that type of a circumstance, the money and the mentoring is tied together. So you can't access one without the other. But what you could do is you could access our minimum of 5K. That'll qualify you for the 2 years of mentoring. But there's a catch when you're doing it that way. And the catch is that you can only access us once in the lifetime of your business. So the way our program works is it's one per business, not one per entrepreneur, one per business. So in a situation where you have one business that you're running, you can access funds for that. If you started a new business down the line, you could access us for that too, but you would have to service the existing loan, and the new business would have to be a net new business, so new registration, and that new business would now be eligible for our program again. Okay, does that make sense? Yes, clear? Okay. So the most people that come to us end up somewhere in the middle of these two sort of extreme ends, right? Most people that come to us will typically access up to 20,000. Some people will access more than that. We have certain cases, obviously, which ask for less money, but our terms are pretty decent when it comes to the market. So yeah, people typically will come to us for the 20, 30K range for a variety of different businesses. Now, some of you may be in the R&D space, right? So I'll sort of go through some of our eligibility just briefly. So one of the pieces is that you have to be starting a business, like I discussed. You have to be a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident. You have to be between 18 and 39, of course. We do a qualification background check and a credit check. So you have to have a reasonable credit score in order to also qualify for the program. Your business also needs to operate in Canada. You can definitely have exports and generate revenue from outside of Canada, but that revenue needs to end up in Canada. So as long as that's the case, we're able to provide funding for that type of a business. The mentoring is part and parcel of the loan program, so it is a requirement that you take on the mentor. It's basically how our program mitigates risk for lending out the money. One thing that we're not able to come in for is R&D funding. So we're not able to fund R&D projects where you're developing your concept, but once you have a go-to-market strategy, then you're able to access the funding. So let's say in a situation where you're developing an app, right? We won't be able to fund the actual development of the app. You'd have to develop that yourself. Development cycles are very flexible and they fluctuate quite a bit. So, you know, somebody says, hey, we'll be able to develop our platform in 4 to 6 months. It could take up to a year. We don't know, right? So we actually need to see the developed or finalized prototype in order to provide our funding, which is for a go-to-market strategy, is really where our money tends to be used best. Yeah, and then there's other sort of finance-based indicators, like you couldn't have declared bankruptcy in the past 5 years. You have to be discharged from a consumer proposal for over a year. So these sort of nuanced type things. And also, if you're a full-time student, you must be in your last year of school or be a part-time student to be eligible. Now, this is the case for our main program, but for the side hustle program, you can access that as a student. So even if you're a full-time student, as long as you can show household income or some way that you're sort of able to meet your day-to-day expenses, that would be sufficient for us to be able to assess for the side hustle program. Okay. Any questions? I sort of put a lot out there right now. So, and I can't actually see the chat right now, so I'm going to try and switch the window, see if that helps. But Cecile, if there's anything in chat, can you let me know, please? Yeah, all right, sounds good. Damien or Nikki, any questions? No, pretty good. All right, so we'll keep moving. All right, so this is sort of a breakdown of how the loan works. So these are the terms of the loan. Keep in mind this is outdated because of the interest rate. So the interest rate recently changed. I don't have the updated presentation with the new rates, but now both loans are at prime plus 3.75. So it actually ends up at 6.2. So the interest rate on any amount of money that you're getting from us is going to be at 6.2%. Okay. We have a first year interest only period. And so that allows you to, have that sort of grace period in order to launch the business. And then you start making full payments on your principal and interest in year 2. So first year, you're only paying interest and principal year 2 onwards. Down payment. So there's a 10% contribution down payment from the BDC, which you're just showing as your own skin in the game. So in the case of 40,000, so if you were to access, let's say 20,000 or less from Futurpreneur, you could have $0 in your bank account to start your business. You would still be able to get 20K. In the case that you wanted to access BDC, for every $10,000 that you would like to access from BDC, you have to show $1,000 in personal investment. So in order to access the full 40K from BDC, you have to show $4,000 of personal investment. So as long as you've spent $4,000 or more on your business, you could be eligible for up to 60K. Fees wise, there's no fee to work with us. Once you're approved for the program, then there's a $50 charge that comes directly out of the loan that we provide you. And then there's a $15 monthly administration fee on the loan. Okay. Yeah, and then there's additional payment options for paying off early. Futurpreneur, there's no early repayment penalty. BDC has a 3-month interest penalty, just the way any other bank would have their penalties structured. Any questions there? If I don't hear anything, I'm going to keep moving. Okay, so this is just a quick run through of typical documents that we look for. We obviously look for a business plan with an executive summary, profile of the business team, market research, SWOT analysis, and then additional documents might be business registration, um, government issued photo ID, partner shareholder agreements, and those types of things. So it's very general documents that you would typically have for your business anyways. We have a few resources as well. So if you're in a position where you're you're considering starting and you've sort of landed on this idea and you're looking to move it forward, and you're seeking funding for it, you're going to need a business plan and cash flow. If you're not seeking funding, you probably don't need a business plan, right? So business plans are typically for people who are looking for funding. If you've just got an idea and you're moving it forward, you're bootstrapping, and not really accessing external funds from like a third party like a bank or Futurpreneur, Alberta Women Entrepreneurs or something like that. In those types of cases, you don't need a full business plan. You could do a business model canvas and that'll be sufficient for you to get your business off the ground. I think Maji Center holds courses, right, on startup business model canvas. Yeah. So access those, amazing tool. I work with people on those often. So if you're not sure about whether your business is viable or not, I'm sure Cecile, Dale, or myself, either of us will be happy to help you through that process and help you understand viability. If you do choose to go down the route of writing a business plan, we've got a really cool tool. The way it works is it asks you direct questions about the business. They're multiple choice, fill in the blank, short paragraph answers. You answer these questions and it'll take everything that you've put into it, template it into a business plan, spit it out as a Word document. So it's super simple to use. There's also a cash flow projections template in there as well. So if you're using that business plan writer, it'll actually template your cash flow for you as well and spit it out as an Excel file. And then we can sort of, hash it out. The way engagement with our team works on this is that we prefer that you have something in writing. So whether you have a business model canvas or you've started the business plan writer, we want to see something in writing that we can start giving you feedback on. So you can send us a document, schedule a time with us, and then we'll go through, give it an assessment, give you feedback on that document, and just help you build it to a better stage. And then when your business plan's ready and we feel that you're ready for an application, we'll let you know, and then you start the application process from that point onwards. Okay, I'll skip the timeline, but basically what this slide's basically saying is that there's a pre-application preparation, and that's what my team supports you with, which is like the business plan and cash flow projections. And then once you finalize the application, you're submitting it, and then we're going through our assessment process in order to give you the funds. So the business plan, how long that takes is totally up to you. From the time that you submit an application to us till the time that the money shows up in your account, you're looking at just around 2 months right now is what it takes. And it takes about a week and a half to get a pre-approval. So you'll know exactly how much you can qualify for in about a week and a half to 2 weeks, and then you'll have the money in your account within 2 months is the timeline. And the reason for that, I saw Dale's eyebrows go up just a little bit because it used to be a shorter time earlier, and it was. We've just had like a really huge number of people applying to the program, so we're backlogged at this point, which is why there's delays. So in a situation where, let's say, you need the money quicker, there's ways of expediting the application, but typical timeline is sitting at about 2 months now. All right, so that's pretty much it for the presentation itself. Any questions so far? No, nothing. I'm gonna stop sharing now so I can see all of you again. Oops, there we go. Okay, so does that make sense? Is that something that you see yourself using or not using? Some feedback would be good.
I'm too old for the program, so that's a huge disappointment. But
Oh, okay. So let's
Right,
say,
You count if you don't look that old.
oh, thank you, Cecile. That's why we're friends. Yeah.
I was surprised that you said you're outside of the age criteria. So let's say you had a partner that hit our age criteria. They would need to own 51% of the business though. But if that was the case, then you would still be eligible. So it's the business that would apply to the program, but the individuals that own the business would need to be eligible for the program. Does that make sense? All right. So yeah, it's I guess if there's are any other questions that you guys might have about the program or about financing in general? Does anybody need money for business? Nobody needs money for business?
I have a quick
Wow.
question.
Yes. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you guys also help with like if someone is investing in like in housing, like if you're buying a house and then rent it out, do you guys also help with the like getting a like let's say around like $300,000 to $200,000 loan from organizations or
Okay.
from banks?
So that's typically like so our money like I said is a non-collateral loan, so it's typically not best suited for something like a mortgage, right? The interest rate would frankly just be too high because you know you're paying up to 6.2% on a loan that's non-collateral, whereas you can get a mortgage right now as low as like 1.5, 1.4 even, right? So
That's right.
it wouldn't really make sense, yeah, to utilize our funds for a mortgage. But let's say for you know, let's say you bought that property and you decided you wanted to own or you wanted to run a property management company. Now that's where we could come play, right? Is that we could help you get the property management company off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense, Sanola?
Yeah. It does make
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions? No?
Oh, nothing
Well, I
here.
will
Okay,
say
cool.
that Hussam is one of our mentors through the Module Center, so he's always available through us if you do end up having questions or wanting to connect. But he's also mentors in other areas like business strategy and whatnot for our entrepreneurs. So can you guys join me in thanking Hussam? Thank you so much, Hussam, for your time today. And
Thank you for
I
having
just
me.
want to remind our students about a few things because I know there's several students on this call. Guys, I got money to spend. I still have $900 to spend sending you guys to virtual workshops, seminars, or events before the end of July. I have to spend this money. Nikki knows she's gotten to benefit by the Lean Stack program. And we've sent 12 students to Collision. We've got all kinds of things going on. So if there's something marketing related, or if you're in accounting, certain areas that you think you might want to focus your business on, contact me. I got money to spend. Also on next week, May 18th, we have the guide to starting your business with Dale. And we're going to go through licensing, how do you license your business and everything. He's going to go through everything that you need to know about that. On June 2nd, ways to finance your business. And this one's very popular on May 27th, government grants 101. So everything you need to know about government grants, which is really, really good. For you students who are still going to be with us in September, listen up. we're launching our Entrepreneurship Blue Book program. So you can join a cohort of students and move from September, from I have an idea for a business, to actually launching your business in March. And we're going to step you through the whole process throughout the year. And you will get milestone payments for hitting certain objectives throughout the program. So right now it's a minimum of $500 you'll receive for completing the program, but we're hoping to make it $1,000. So some pretty exciting things. So if you have any questions, you can reach out to me or Dale. Thanks for joining us today. Next time, maybe put some clothes on and turn your camera on. We'd love to see you.
Never leave money on the table, people.
Yeah, never leave money on the table.
No, if there's $900 to spend, you should spend it.
I have spent over the that on one student, so don't
man.
think that, you know, there's something that there's something that is interesting to you and that's going to help you become more of an entrepreneur or move forward, we're in. All right.
That's awesome.
Thanks, Sam, and thanks everybody.
See you.
And have
Bye.
an
Nice to see
amazing
everyone.
day.
Take care.
Thanks,
So I
Sam.
have a
Nice
last
to meet
question.
you.
Sorry.
Oh, there's another
Oh, sure.
question.
Yeah.
So
Are you
just
there?
last question. It's my friend. He's wondering. So he has 3 houses that right now that he's renting out. He wonders like what kind of help you guys have for like property management.
So is he like so there's a difference between being an owner of a home and renting it out versus managing properties professionally and sort of setting up a company to do that. So it's the company that we'd be able to support, right? So is that something, if he's interested in starting that type of a company, then what we could do is help him with the strategic planning on the front end. And then provide some funds after the business planning, cash flow and stuff is done to actually get the business off the ground.
Okay. Sounds good. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks again.
No problem.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. See you.
We're out.
See you.